Now, today is the 14th of August, and it is the 76 years of Pakistan's independence. Now, remember, Pakistan celebrates its Independence Day just a day before India's Independence Day. In fact, it's an interesting comparison between the two nations that were once together. The two countries became free together. But 76 years on, the differences are pretty stark. India is gearing up to celebrate its achievements, but Pakistan is celebrating what could have been. Their founding fathers had a unique vision for the country. For 7 decades, Pakistan, because of its policies that it had, appears to have lost its way. It has an overbearing army, it has got deep ethnic divisions, it's got separatist movements, it's got terror groups which operate on its soil. Its economy has all but collapsed, and if we speak of the country's politics, it's in a state of complete mess. Many, in fact, go to the extent of saying that Pakistan is just one crisis away from becoming a failed state. Now, we do not say this without reason, as Pakistanis, in fact, are observing this day. Two of their biggest political leaders at this moment are fighting for their survival. The first is Pakistan's former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Remember, he's been living in exile in London for many years now. He's trying to figure out ways to return to Islamabad. The judiciary is trying to ensure that he doesn't. Last week, it scrapped a law that would have given him the right to appeal against his conviction. The second man is Imran Khan. At this moment, he can be dubbed as the most popular leader in Pakistan. He's a former Pakistani Prime Minister, and as we speak, is serving a 3-year prison sentence. He's complaining of insects and bugs inside of the Attock Fort prison, where he's been incarcerated. His lawyers are in fact trying their very best to get him released, but even if he does, he won't be able to contest the elections. Because remember, he's been barred from running for office as well because of his conviction. Now, if we speak of the current leader of Pakistan, well, he's a man who doesn't know what to do. We're talking about Anwarul Haq Kakar. He's serving as the country's caretaker Prime Minister. Now, he's the 8th caretaker Prime Minister in Pakistan's history. His job is to ensure a smooth transition of power to an elected government. In other words, Pakistan at this moment is in the hands of a substitute, and there's no other way to put it. Now, who would have thought that the country would be celebrating its Independence Day in these circumstances? We mean, just think about what the word independence means. It means that you're standing on your own 2 feet. But the politics, but the foreign policy, but the economy, all of this has been decided based on Pakistan's national interest and the will of the people. But in the case of Pakistan, nothing seems to have gone right for a very long time there. The politics in Pakistan is controlled by the generals. The foreign policy is also controlled by the army. And Pakistan's foreign sponsors, such as the United States and Saudi Arabia, and the country's economy is at best, at this moment, an extension of China's. Now, we've got some numbers for you in terms of what Pakistan's overall external debt is. It is close to $126 billion. Out of this, Pakistan's total outstanding debt to China is $30 billion. So out of $126 billion that Pakistan owes, $30 billion of it are owed directly to China. This includes $7 billion from China's State Administration of Foreign Exchange, about $8.7 billion from Chinese banks. So that's a lot of money. If China pulls out the money, then Pakistan, of course, faces a pretty dire economic future. And that's not all. Pakistan's foreign reserves have also fallen below $8.73 billion. Inflation in this country, you must hear this again, inflation in Pakistan at this moment is about 30.82%. The trade deficit is about $27.55 billion, and because of these numbers, Pakistan is dependent on foreign assistance. It's taken at least about 21 loans from the IMF, out of which 12 are bailouts. This is besides the many loans that it has also taken from Saudi Arabia. Let's also talk about terror. And this year alone, there have been 271 terror attacks in Pakistan. And these terror attacks have claimed the lives of over 389 people. They've injured 656 others. And reports say that this marks a 79% increase in the number of terror attacks that have been conducted on the Pakistani people in comparison with the last year. In fact, just last Sunday, there was an attack on a Pakistani military convoy that was escorting the Chinese nationals. This happened near the strategic southwestern port city of Gwadar. This was not a standalone incident. There have been multiple terror attacks on Chinese engineers and officials staying in Pakistan. So 76 years on, Pakistan is surviving on a diet of three things: loans from China and other friendly nations, bailouts from the IMF, and handouts from Saudi Arabia. But the question is this: how long can this continue? After all, bailouts are not a substitute for a functioning economy. The point that we're making is very simple. Pakistan's track record is a guide for all nations, a guide on what not to do. Their budget is heavy on the military, it is light on growth, development and welfare of its own people. Pakistan's foreign policy has been dictated by issues of terrorism. It is light on security. As a result, Pakistan at this moment is stuck. It's become a dangerous case of a nuclear basket, and that's bad news for the entire neighborhood. A thriving Pakistan, remember, is key to South Asia's future. It's also key to India's future as well. But unless Pakistani leaders get their act together, independence will mean nothing. It's a constant reminder of what could have been. But the question is this: will Pakistan be able to change track and get back on the path of development? WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.